everybody.
Now do I
think
need
we're
to
live.
rename everybody?
Sorry
Yeah.
I'm late.
Vicky, be my
I was
name.
doing something good though. I was cleaning out my closet, so that was good. Let me get to the chat. So I did some things today earlier, watched a few things. I also requested some information from the Moscow PD. And because there was a lot about that disturbance report, September 1st of 2022, and I did watch it, and I did read about it, and I did request the footage so we can go over it, but what was interesting is that I didn't watch anybody's commentary on it, but I read about someone's commentary on it, and them saying that this person was saying, look, they're lying to the police. Now, what happens in this video is it's dark. You only see the lights. Like Scooter was saying, it's dark. There's not like street light, which I'm surprised that there's not street lights over there. Because it's not in the middle of the country, you know. I'm surprised about that, and I still can't get to the chat. But there's no street lights, and they take forever to turn on their flashlights. Hi, everybody. I'll say hi in a sec, but I just want to get this thought out of my head. And then when they go to the door, they're knocking on the door, but before they knock on the door, two girls come out in shorts. Not exactly sure, but they're getting the freak out of there, okay? Officer says, do you live there? They say no, and they're gone. Then they go up, they're pounding on the door. Some blonde-haired girl comes down, answers the door. They ask her if she lives there. She says, no, do you want me to go get the people that do live here? Yes, right? So, she runs upstairs. And then literally, you know, it's like 10 minutes later. Nobody's come to the door. The officers are getting really pissed off. And they're trying to look through the windows, and all of the curtains are drawn, but you can see a small sliver into one of the downstairs rooms, and it might look like there's like I don't know if it's I didn't really look a lot, but it looked like an elliptical, maybe a treadmill, I don't know. The thing is, they say, now I'm going to explain to you like a lot of stuff that's going around. So I'll try to remember about that room. Finally, two guys come down, and the officers say, hey, look, you know, we're just here for a noise disturbance, but if you guys don't start cooperating, it's going to be more than that. Now, what the hell's going on? Where are the people that, you know, rent this house? And what sorority does it belong to? And they said, well, I don't know that it's a sorority or something. And they said, yes, it definitely is. And where are the people that are responsible for this house? Oh, then none of them are here. So then the officer was like, oh, so you're just trespassing, right? You're just, no, we're not trespassing. He said that we're just here, but they went to another party, and actually everybody's getting ready to leave and go to another party. So, of course, they're drinking underage, some of them, but isn't the drinking age there 21? So some of them are not, but I don't know how the officers just assumed that they were all underage drinking. And they, somebody left their, like a case of beer out there, and they just proceeded to empty it, which I was a little perplexed about, because how do they know whose that was? And how do they know all those kids are underage drinking if they didn't even ask for their IDs? How do they know they're not 22 and 21? That was a little weird for me. But anyway, a lot of them left out the other way. They finally went up the other way. I don't know when it was too late. But they told this guy, you better get me somebody that's responsible for this house. So he said, okay, I'm going to go up and get them. Well, he comes down with a phone. And on the phone, White Claws, is that what they were? No, but they said it was something else, because he said, ooh, my hands smell like...
Truly.
What was it, Truly? What is Truly?
Truly.
Is it beer? What is it?
Well, maybe a wine.
Truly.
Maybe a wine drink.
I
Yeah.
have no idea.
I don't know. Something that he didn't like the way his hands smelled. But it took the officer forever to empty that. It looked like it was half full, but literally there were like 3, and then the other officer came over to say it was like the endless box of Truly, whatever that is. So then he says, it's Madison on the phone. So he puts it on speakerphone. He's got his body camera. It's a seltzer. It's a spiked seltzer, Nathan. I love seltzer, but I don't drink spiked seltzer. But is that what it is? Truly is a spiked seltzer? Okay. So, what do they spike it with? Vodka?
Wait.
I don't know what it's.
So many people say, well, you can't taste vodka. I can taste it. It's nasty.
Yeah, that's what they always say, that if like on the soap operas, the alcoholics, remember, like, did you watch that? She was always drinking vodka on ice in a big glass, and everybody would think it was water. And it's supposed to not have any smell, so you can't tell. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And he made Kai Rosa later. So, yeah, and then they say he never asked them for ID, which I found strange, but it was, I don't know, maybe the New York State Police ask you for ID for anything. You could call them, I think there's someone in the backyard. They're going to ask you for your ID and take it down. So I just don't know. They didn't ask them for their ID. Maybe they just didn't want to be bothered with it. I don't know. Get into the underage drinking or what. But they then talked to Madison, and she was saying that she was going to take care of it, that she was somewhere else. And he said, well, you better get home right now and get these people out of your house. And they had lowered the music. And that was about it. But then there were some people running around going, if those kids lied to the police officers, you can't try. Like, okay. They're saying something about at a party. They're not talking about a quadruple homicide. You can't even compare the two.
Exactly.
Right? You cannot compare
No,
the two.
you
But
can't.
at any college, if there's a party, people are going to fly out of there. If they're underage drinking or something, they're going to be gone. They're going to save their skin, okay? That's kind of normal. That's not a gauge by saying, oh, they would lie about a quadruple homicide because of that. So there's really nothing with anything unless you want to take a little glimpse inside the house. And like I said, I will get the footage and put it up here, but it's really not anything. I mean, it's not like inside in the case. Now, the other thing that everybody was flipping out about is the Adam. What did you tell Adam? And it is, what did you tell Adam? The father of Kaylee confirms that, and they had that early on. This is not new to Kaylee's family. It's not new to the police. The only people it's new to is the general public. Hi, Rubbity Bub.
Okay.
That's it. And this is old news. It's something that has no significance, the father said. Adam is a bartender down at that corner club and not involved with this. According to Kaylee's father, this is old news. Police have it. So everybody that's now like, oh, they're really saying this, or they're acting like this just came out. No, this just came out for the general public, not for the case. So that really doesn't have any bearing on anything either. And let me just say hello to everybody before we get too involved. So I don't know if any of you have taken the time to watch that, but anybody that wants to could call in. I'm going to see if they have the official update for today. Linda, Kathy Williams, Deborah, Lisa L, Debbie L, Deborah Van Couverden, Nicole, Nathan Hill, welcome, Teresa W, Margot. Let's see. Chris Ree, Rosalita, yes, Christina Ferrari, Lisa L, did I get you? Heart Made Wise. Let's see. Elizabeth W. Did I see Kevin Leonard or my eyes going crazy? Nobody Bob. I thought I saw Kevin Leonard. Let me see if I missed anybody. Barb. Okay, sorry if I missed anybody, but let me go to see the latest.
Oh, miss me.
Oh, Sharon. Oh, you were here. Hello, Sharon.
Hello, Carol.
I made you host.
I know you did.
See, I miss you with that.
Oh, shall I rename you? Be careful now.
Okay. Let's see now. Let me look at the Idaho. Oh, guys, see what they're doing today. I don't know if I read if there was a press release today. They usually put one out every day. It just has the same info. Let's see if they did. No, the last one is from 12/16. So today's the 18th. Just turned to the 18th. No, it's going to turn to the 19th in a second. In exactly 1 minute, we're going to move to the 19th. So they haven't put one out in 3 days, which is a little bit unusual. They haven't waited this much time, which is interesting, because their press releases before were the 13th, the 14th, actually 2 on the 14th, 2 on the 15th, 1 on the 16th, 1 on the 17th, 1 on the 18th, 2 on the 19th, 2 on the 20th, 1 on the 21st, 22nd had 2, 23rd had 1, then they skipped 1 day, 25th skipped 1 day, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 2 on the 30th, then the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, skipped 1 day, the 4th, 5th, 6th, 2 on the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, skipped 1 day, the 11th, 12th, 13th, skipped 1 day, 14, 15. So this is the longest they've skipped. Now why? Is there some significance to that? I don't know. Or are they just going to come flying in tomorrow with an arrest? I don't know. But it's the most days that they've skipped in their releases there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they just don't want to put anything out. I don't know. Maybe
on that poll.
Who knows? We'll see. All right. Now let me see if there's anything going on in the groups here. So I've got to go back to this. Let me see. There. Yeah, and if you want to call in, let us know that if you're not in Slack or something, you can email for the number. Oh, I have one special announcement. CR, who bought that milk glass console bowl for me, I never got any information from you. And I know you're a member and everything, but I don't have your information. I don't know if you sent it, if you did .com instead of .org. I do not have your information. So if you're listening, can you please make sure you have the right email and send that to me? Thank you. Okay. What am I trying? Oh, I'm trying to get to my... Okay. So let's see. Okay, so this is some of the stuff that's confirmed. Now, this is weird. Okay, so this is, maybe let's take away some rumors. Kaylee and Maddie were with Hoodie Guy from the food truck earlier in the evening. Surveillance video submitted to the admins of this is the group we are, by a member, then shared with the press at the member's request, shows Maddie and Kaylee clearly walking along the sidewalk with Hoodie Guy. The camera's audio picks up Kaylee saying Maddie's name as they walk by. When Kaylee asks Maddie, "What did you say to Adam?" Maddie does not say, "Like I told Adam, I'm pregnant," because I guess that's going around, okay? It's not what she says. Maddie says, "Like I told Adam everything." The 911 call was not made because one of the surviving roommates ran outside and fainted. An early story going around about the 911 call was for an unconscious person rather than a homicide or deceased person, was what one of the roommates saw one or more of the victim's bodies. She ran outside and fainted. Many people accepted this story as confirmed. However, the Moscow police have since stated on their website the surviving roommates summoned friends to the residence because they believed one of the second-floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. At 11:58 a.m., a 911 call requested aid for an unconscious person. The call was made from one of the surviving roommates' cell phones inside the residence. Multiple people talked with the 911 dispatcher before Moscow police arrived at the location. And that brings us to another thing. Someone said today on another thread, on another forum, that I want confirmation where the Moscow, Idaho Police Department said the 2 surviving roommates were on the first floor because they couldn't find it. I went back to look for that exact thing, that the 2 surviving roommates were on the first floor. And I didn't find it. But here's the thing. Somebody said that Zaina was using a room downstairs to put her stuff in that she was selling. She was selling stuff. I don't know where that came from, but when you look through the little things in the noise disturbance call, it does look like one of those rooms downstairs is empty. And it has, like I said, like some kind of exercise equipment or something in there. I don't know if that was something she was selling. Here's the other thing. Each floor had 2 bedrooms, right? How do we know that one of the surviving roommates was staying downstairs, one was staying in the 2nd bedroom on the 2nd floor? Do we know that? We don't really. I don't think the police have confirmed that. I think a lot of the stuff we're hearing from other people, and other people are just spreading everything. So I don't know. Maybe they were sleeping. Maybe the 1 bedroom Zaina was using for her stuff. Maybe the other 2 were sharing the other bedroom, and they were on the first floor. But try to find it, that the police said it. I did a quick search and didn't see it, but other people in this forum did a search too and didn't see it. Just saying. Okay. A man who threatened students with a knife on the University of Idaho campus in September is not connected to the case. The Moscow police said the man isn't connected to the ongoing investigation in the case. The incident involved an argument between a group of people walking on a bike path and a cyclist, police said. It was reported that during the confrontation, the cyclist displayed a folding knife. Both parties dispersed and there were no injuries, and I believe that cyclist turned himself in for that. A knife-wielding man arrested for domestic violence against his wife and child is not considered a suspect. Police issued a statement to news media that specifically addressed rumors surrounding James L., the 39-year-old man, is not considered a suspect in the brutal stabbings. Moscow PD told reporters that the 2 investigations are not linked in any way. The young men seen in the body cam footage from the night of the crime are not suspects. Investigators say the people in those released videos have been cleared and the incident had nothing to do with the case. I believe it was an alcohol-related issue. The surviving roommates are not considered suspects at this time. This comes from the Moscow police, who is not to be involved. That's all it says. It doesn't say cleared. It says people who are not believed to be involved. True surviving roommates. Kaylee's boyfriend, Jack D, is not considered a suspect at this time, but again, he's listed as who is not to be involved, and this was early on when they made this list on their police site. The male, Kaylee and Madison, called numerous times during the early morning hours of November 13th. As Kaylee's sister has identified the male, Kaylee and Madison called numerous times to be Kaylee's boyfriend, Jack D. It's extremely likely that police are referring to Jack D in this statement. Hoodie Guy is not considered a suspect at this time. This comes from the Moscow police site again, on who is not believed to be involved, the male in the grub truck surveillance video, taken with news reports describing Hoodie Guy as having been identified and interviewed by police. In addition to the fact that the online rumor mill has almost extensively been focused on Hoodie Guy because he was interacting with the girls, it's extremely likely the police are referring to Hoodie Guy in this statement and not one of the many other men seen in hoodies in the video. The other male seen interacting with the 2 women in the video wearing a tan jacket has come forward publicly as Joe V. He has not been targeted by online sleuths as a potential suspect, so it's unlikely the police would have felt the need to mention him in their statement. The person who drove Kaylee and Madison home is not considered a suspect at this time. Again, from the Moscow police, who is not to be believed to be involved, private party driver who took Kaylee and Madison home. Then you have the surviving roommates, friends at the victim's house when the 911 call was made. None of them are considered suspects at this time, according to the Moscow police. The 6th person on the lease is not considered to be a suspect at this time. That's also from the Moscow police. The individual on the lease who moved out of the residence before the school year started who was not present at the time of the incident, is not believed to be a suspect. Police initially released body cam footage from the night of the attack, asking for clues from the public. Moscow detectives have released new body camera footage during the early morning hours of Sunday, November 13th. Police say the video was released hoping that anyone familiar with the area is able to spot something out of place. Now let's see what that is. This was released. If you want to see that, you can see it. I'll put the link in the chat if you'd like to go and see that. Where's my chat? Here we go. Okay. I'll put that there. That's from December 8th that was released there. Now let me go back to where we were. Okay. Police see the video. Yeah, we got that. Okay. Police want to speak to the occupants of a white 2011-2013 Honda Elantra. I think we've went over that ad nauseum. The white vehicle in the body cam footage from the police interaction with 3 intoxicated male students is not the white Hyundai Elantra that police are seeking. Moscow police say a white vehicle that was seen in a November 13th body camera video is not the Hyundai Elantra under investigation. Moscow Police Chief James Fry addressed speculation about a white vehicle seen in the background of body camera footage obtained through police records request. The video showed a Moscow police officer responding to an alcohol offense at 3 a.m. on November 13th in an incident authorities say is unrelated to the homicide investigation. The attack was targeted. This comes right from the Moscow police. Anytime there's a crime against a person, there is a potential danger to the general public. However, detectives believe these homicides were targeted. Kaylee's boyfriend, Jack D., was the Jack who Kaylee and Maddie called several times just before 3 a.m. on the night of the crime. This comes from interviews with Kaylee's sister, Olivia, who was able to access Kaylee's phone records through the family's cell phone plan. Police have interviewed Hoodie Guy from the food truck video. Idaho State Police say that a man in a dark jacket and a light hoodie in the video has been identified and been interviewed as part of the routine investigation. Idaho Police also specify on their website that the male in the grub truck surveillance video is not believed to be involved. The perpetrator likely entered the property through the second floor sliding glass door at the rear of the house. Idaho State Police say investigators think the perpetrator got in the house through the sliding glass door. The dog was located at the residence. This comes from Moscow Police. On the night of the incident, officers located a dog at the residence. The dog was unharmed. It was turned over to Animal Services and then released to a responsible party. Okay, and then there's a speculation that there were claims about the dog, such as he didn't bark a lot, but that's all speculation. Now, times everyone arrived back to the house. This comes from the Moscow Police that Kaylee and Madison were seen on video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street and used a private party for a ride home to arrive at their 1122 King Road residence at 1:56 a.m. At approximately 1:45 a.m., Ethan and Zaina are believed to have returned to the residence on 1122 King Road. The 2 surviving roommates had been out in the Moscow community separately, but they returned home by 1 a.m. on November 13th. Okay, none of the victims were found in, not all of the victims were found in bed. The Lada County Coroner, Kathy Mabat, originally told News Nation's Ashley Banfield that the victims were likely sleeping and answered yes when asked were they found in their beds. But later she told another media outlet that earlier reports stating that all 4 victims had died in their beds was not accurate. Okay. Now, there are There's speculation all around that Ethan was found in a hallway or the kitchen. Again, that's just speculation. It's not confirmed by the police. Okay, this is more speculation. The victim's property has been listed for rent already. I mean, the house. While there are 2 listings for the property on rental sites, one of them is not active. Either way, the property is still an active crime scene and under 24-hour guard. It's unknown who posted the listing, but it's highly doubtful that it would be done by the owner until the property has been released by investigators. It should be noted that the photos accompanying those listings appear to be old and prior to renovation seen in a more recent Zillow listing, before those photos were removed from before the crime. Okay. When Kaylee asks Maddie, "What did you say to Adam?" Maddie replies, "Like I told Adam, I'm pregnant." On enhanced video, you can clearly hear that Maddie actually replies, "Like I told Adam everything." Hoodie guy wasn't with Kaylee and Maddie at the food truck that night. He was stalking them. This appears to be an interpretation of the events by people who watched the Twitch stream recording from the food truck cameras. However, a review of the entire 12-minute period that included Maddie and Kaylee also shows Hoodie Guy arriving with the women, standing in close proximity to them and occasionally interacting with them as they waited for their food and openly interacting with other patrons. Excuse me. Additionally, he also appears to wave goodbye to them after they were out of frame, thought to have been picked up by the Uber driver. Therefore, while he was an unwanted companion exhibiting stalkerish behavior or just a nice guy watching out for them, it's wholly up to the interpretation of the viewer. Joe V, the man in the video with a tan hat and jacket who actually spoke with Hoodie Guy that night, has repeatedly stated that he did not get a bad vibe from Hoodie Guy and thought he was fine. On December 19th, 2022, surveillance video submitted to this group by a member had shared with the press shows Maddie and Kaylee clearly walking along the sidewalk with Hoodie Guy before they were together at the food truck. The camera's audio picks up Kaylee saying Maddie's name as they walk by. That could never be 12:19. That had to be 12:18 because it just turned 12:19 and this was only posted 3 hours ago. Okay, so let's see. Anything else here? Yeah. All right, here's some more rumors. Let's see. Jack D is 5 years older than Kaylee. An article in the Daily Mail erroneously captioned a photo of Jack and Kaylee, listing Jack as 26 years old. Jack and Kaylee actually attended high school together. Several sources, including a different Daily Mail article, indicate he's actually 22 years old. Okay, so here, let's see. Blood was photographed on a kitchen cabinet through a window, or blood was photoshopped onto the cabinet. Fox News Digital published photos taken through the kitchen window of the crime scene by a freelance photojournalist, Derek Shook. In the photo, a tabletop and lower cabinet next to the refrigerator can be seen, and both are clean. That was on November 15th. On December 1st, the Daily Mail published photos taken through the kitchen window of the crime scene by a freelance photographer, Nathaniel Jones. In the photo, the tabletop is cluttered and dark stains can be seen dripping down the face of the lower cabinet. There is also a photograph of a crime scene investigator in the kitchen looking up towards the ceiling. This has caused speculation that the dripping substance is blood that dripped from the ceiling from Kaylee's room above and police cleaned it up. Others have speculated that the dripping substance is photoshopped onto the news photo. Neither theory has been verified. Reasons to believe the substance is not blood include there was no substance dripped on the lower cabinet in the photograph taken 17 days prior to the one that showed the drips. Some have suggested the photos were withheld by the Daily Mail and are actually older than the Fox News photos. For one, it seems unlikely that a news agency would hold exclusive photos of that nature in a case, especially the Daily Mail, that captured national interest. Second, police don't clean up crime scenes. Exactly. Property owners must do it for themselves or hire professional crime scene cleaners. Remember when Danielle Redlick had her stepfather went in there and they were cleaning up the whole thing? It was crazy. The property has not yet been released back to the owner as of 12/14/2022. It's extremely unlikely the kitchen was cleaned of evidence in any way just 2 days after the crime. Crime scene investigators have carefully kept the window coverings drawn on rooms with evidence they likely don't want filmed or photographed by the press and gawkers. Notably, Zaina's and Maddie's room, because the kitchen, living room, and Kaylee's room all have open window coverings, it's unlikely that there was sensitive evidence, like a visible amount of dripping blood or blood to be seen through those windows. There appears to be a coffee station on the counter above the drips. It's just possible that coffee spilled over the counter and down the front of the cabinet, possibly due to being on an automatic timer. Again, this is speculation. Kaylee's room is suspected of being the room above the kitchen due to the letter M and the pink boots in the covered window of the other bedroom. But because the window coverings have been opened in that room, it's been speculated that it's unlikely her body was found there. It's unclear if the investigator who photographed looking up at the ceiling or cabinet was photographed through the kitchen window or kitchen slider, but based on the red evidence marker tags on the frame, it appears to be the slider. The slider is on the opposite end of the kitchen from the cabinet with the drips. If she's in the kitchen window, she was looking towards her left from the window, which would be above the sink or stove, not above the cabinet with the drips. Reasons to believe the substance is blood include, similar to the suspected blood drips photographed on the exterior wall below Zaina's room. It's a valid point that the blood could have been seeped through the ceiling into the kitchen after a few days. This could explain the clean cabinet photos preceding the photos showing drips. Despite comments being made by her father, it's a valid point that it's not confirmed that Kaylee wasn't killed in her room, which is believed to be the bedroom above the kitchen. Either way, it has not been confirmed that it is blood on the kitchen cabinet. Okay, Quinn K., the boyfriend of the surviving roommate Dylan M., is the man in the black ski mask and or drives a white Hyundai Elantra. This rumor gained traction after online sleuths discovered photos of Dylan, social media of her allegedly and Quinn allegedly in ski masks. People immediately started comparing the photo to the TikTok Snapchat selfie of the person in a black ski mask. Quinn has been quite vocal on his Twitter account about him and Dylan, and even his father being harassed about the murders. His response to the photo of masked people on Dylan's social media say that, I quote, "For one, that ain't me in the photo. Never even put on a ski mask. And second, you can see the date that VSCO's photo was taken. The date was February 6th of 2021, which can be taken to mean it was likely from before he and Dylan were dating." Not to be deterred, online sleuths focused in on details of the masked man and spotted what looked like a birthmark on his upper lip. Others scoured Quinn's social media pages and found a photo of him also with some kind of birthmark on his upper lip, implying that this would confirm the masked man to be Quinn. However, despite Quinn also lacking the same fullness of the lips and the distinctive hooded eyes as the masked man, they also ignored the many other photos of Quinn that showed no mark on his upper lip. Online sleuths also theorized that Quinn drove over 5 hours to Moscow that night from Boise to commit the crime, despite not having a single motive. However, Quinn shut that down quickly with his own geo-snap from the night of the crime, showing that he was still in Boise at 2:46 a.m. Finally, numerous online sleuths suggested that Quinn owned a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Quinn shared a photo of his car on Twitter to quell that rumor. It's definitely gray, and it's definitely a Chevy. It looks a lot like a 2010 Malibu. A man in a black ski mask took a Snapchat photo or TikTok video of himself near the location of the house around the time of the crime. Early in the investigation, a selfie photo surfaced of the man in a black ski mask. The original source has not been located, but other Reddit threads say an anonymous contributor said it was either a Snapchat GeoSnap photo or a screen grab from a TikTok video. There's no identifying marks on the photo to corroborate where or when it was taken, so it could have been taken anywhere in the world. The image popped up in numerous YouTube videos, TikTok videos, and chat threads. The images shared in the sources below were grabbed from a Reddit thread, also linked in the sources that appeared to have grabbed from a TikTok video. There was a different story going around about a man in a black ski mask being captured on a doorbell camera entering the victim's house, which is not associated with this photo. A masked man was caught on doorbell footage entering the home. This tabloid publication is Meow. It's posted an article about online speculation and theories about the crime that included an unverified report made by an anonymous Reddit user who did not provide evidence to support their claim. All of the victims were killed or found in bed while they were asleep. Well, the coroner said, yes, they were, but she later told CBS News that it was not accurate. She went on to tell Ashley Banfield it was late at night or early in the morning, so it's likely that maybe they were sleeping. And then she said, the coroner, stab wounds on the hands of at least one victim appear to be defensive. And police said in a statement some of the victims had defensive wounds that suggest the victims were likely asleep when they were attacked, but that some of them woke up during the attack. Ethan was found in the hallway or in the kitchen. These claims appear to trace back to Reddit theories. They don't provide a verifiable source. Officials have not disclosed where the bodies were found other than 2 victims on the 2nd floor, 2 victims on the 3rd floor. The victims were tied and gagged. According to the Moscow police, online reports of the victims being tied and gagged are not accurate. One of the victims was decapitated or nearly decapitated. In an interview with Ashley Banfield, the coroner said she was asked, were any of them slashed? Were any of their necks cut? Or were there all puncture wounds? And she said, well, it was a pretty large knife, so it's really hard to call them puncture wounds. They were definitely stabbings, and I mean, it has to be someone that's pretty angry in order to stab 4 people to death, so this contradicts rumors that anyone was decapitated. Kaylee was in the same bed as Maddie when they were attacked. Kaylee's father, Steve, said at a vigil for the victims on November 30th that they died together in the same room in the same bed. This is believed to be, by many, to be speculation on his part, as the family has also said police have not revealed to them where the victims were found in the house. Brian Enton and Ashley Banfield reported on News Nation that they know the girls were found together, but they did not mention how they know this other than the father's statement at the vigil. While news media may have reliable inside sources at this time, this claim will remain classified as speculation until there's more information. Kaylee was the target due to her significantly more brutal injuries. An unnamed source told Brian Enton that Kaylee's injuries were significantly more brutal than Maddie's injuries. However, the information has not been corroborated by investigators. Additionally, crime experts who were told this information said that if her injuries were worse, it could be because she fought back and not necessarily because she was the intended target. Of course, that doesn't mean there isn't evidence that Kaylee was the target, but it just isn't confirmed at this time. Kaylee's father, Stephen, told news outlets in the investigation that Kaylee had spoken about a potential stalker who made her uncomfortable. In more recent interviews, Kaylee's family, including her father, said they were unaware of Kaylee having a stalker and felt strongly that Kaylee would have told them if she did. Police eventually tracked the probable source of Kaylee's stalker comments to an incident in mid-October at a local business where police say it was an isolated incident and not an ongoing pattern of stalking. No evidence suggests the 2 males were involved in the crime. Another student, Hannah C., was bullied by one of the victims when they lived in the same dorm. The victims were targeted for revenge. In a tweet that has apparently been deleted, an unnamed Twitter user wrote, Hannah C. took her life in February. She shared a dorm with one of the victims and got bullied. Her birthday is November 15th. Police and her father confirmed that Hannah died from an overdose in February of 2022. However, the claim that about Maddie and Hannah either being roommates or doormates, or that Hannah was bullied by Maddie or anyone else, could not be verified. Every lead went back to someone that said in the post that instead of any evidence that they had ever lived in a dorm together or that anyone was bullied, it's unknown if either lived in a dorm. We know that Maddie was actually in a sorority up until recently, but we don't know if she lived in a sorority house prior to moving into the house where she was killed. Hannah's obituary didn't mention membership in a sorority. The entire claim appears to be hearsay. The victim died on November The victims died on November 13th, so despite the effort at making a connection with the date, neither Hannah's birthday nor the date of her death were the same as the date of the murders. Okay. 2 anonymous cryptic comments were later made on Maddie's Instagram, alleging Maddie did something to the poor girl and that little girl, but mentioned no name. Hannah was the same age as the murder victims. As the author of the article below states, there is absolutely no proof about if these theories hold any water or if they have even a shred of truth to them. Okay. Fox News, the front door of the house was wide open around 8:30 to 9:30 in the morning after the crime. A Fox News reporter stated that the neighbor told her that he saw the door wide open when walking by the house in the morning after the attack. The reporter states that the neighbor also told her that he gave that information to investigators. Unfortunately, news outlets have also been repeating occasional misinformation, rumors, and speculations throughout the investigation, and the reporter did not state that she had attempted to verify his claim. Because it was not verified, it will remain categorized as speculation until there's more information. Okay, a scream saying, "Stop it, leave me alone," was recorded by a neighbor. That's a hoax. A YouTuber uploaded a video claiming to exclusively have audio of the scream recorded on the night of the crime. Online sleuth tracked down real source of the audio clip that exposed both the YouTube creator and the article as fake. Okay, a neighbor heard a scream, so why didn't he call police, and why didn't the roommates on the first floor hear anything? This party refers to an article interviewing neighbors about what they heard that night. What neighbor Enan Harsh said is being misquoted. Here is the actual quote from the article. Harsh said he can't be certain, but as he dozed off early that morning, he thinks he heard a scream from the vicinity of his neighbor's house. He told the Idaho Statesman, but it didn't arouse much of his attention, he said, because he thought it was more of a party sound, which wasn't out of the ordinary for the time or setting, so Mr. Harsh wasn't even certain if he heard a scream. Other neighbors stated the night was unusually quiet for the area, yet they heard nothing unusual. Additionally, Mr. Harsh had posted on his Facebook on November 15th, 4 killed and stabbing across the street. No screams, no evidence, no trace, so like professional killers? But why on 3 sorority girls? Shite doesn't make sense. This clearly suggested he hadn't heard any screaming, which caused online sleuths to question why his story changed. If you go to the post now, he has removed no screams from it. However, a screenshot was taken before he did. This seems to make Mr. Harsh's story less credible. A former tenant of the property, Ryan Augusta, had one of the rooms on the first floor where the surviving roommates were sleeping. He said, see, where they were sleeping. They're making it sound like they were sleeping in the one room or the floor. I don't know. Saying, I wouldn't have heard it from downstairs. When asked whether or not he could hear activity coming from the second or third floors of the house where he lived, unless his roommate was playing the television loudly on the second floor, he typically heard nothing from the second or third floors. Okay. Hoodie guy was stalking Kaylee. No, we already went through that. Maddie said F you to the hoodie guy. Maddie can be seen in the video pointing in the direction of the hoodie guy and Joe V, and heard saying F you. In a live TikTok question and answer, Joe V claims that she was jokingly responding to teasing by hoodie guy. However, just prior to this moment, it was Joe V who pointed in her direction as he's speaking, and it may actually have been something he said that caused her reaction. So it's unclear if she's pointing, speaking to hoodie guy or to Joe V. Kaylee was trying to secretly take photos of hoodie guy behind her. In a live TikTok question and answer, witness Joe V said he could see Kaylee scream, and she was actually photographing Maddie. Kaylee and Maddie never spoke to hoodie guy. In a live TikTok video, the witness Joe V said, when asked, did they ever speak to him? Joe said, yes, they talked several times. Kaylee and Maddie hurried away from the food truck because they wanted to get away from hoodie guy. In that same question and answer, they revealed that while they were waiting for the food, the driver of their ride had arrived and had said, hey, what's going on? Let's go. This is likely why they hurried away. as soon as they got their food. In the food truck video, you can see Maddie gesture towards something behind the food truck about 3 minutes before they got their food, because the ride was probably there. In audio from the food truck video, Hoodie Guy says, "She took my effing jacket," to Joe. The jacket Maddie was wearing was later found in the bushes by the house. Reddit users wrote, "Is it me or Hoodie Guy says they just took my effing jacket?" He shares a clip with what he believes was written in a text on the screen. It's almost impossible to discern what the two men were saying when all the others are talking. Most responses to the Reddit thread agree they can't hear anything the men are saying with all of the other noise. Again, it's very difficult to hear specific voices, but you can see Hoodie Guy's clearly talking at several points through the video, but few, if any, of the voices can be heard that match when he's talking. Looking at the other three names, it seems more likely that we're hearing one or more of the men in the group of 4 people, 3 men and a woman, standing closest to the order window. Additionally, the voice appears to say "bro" continues to be heard after Hoodie Guy leaves. The added text on the screen creates what is known as an auditory illusion, similar to the viral brainstorm versus green needle trick. When reading the words while listening, your brain tries to pick out sounds in the audio that match the words. There's no evidence that the black jacket was found near the house and the same black jacket Maddie was wearing in the food truck video. Closely inspecting the jacket in both videos, the jacket was found by the police appears to have a pocket on the left side with a white object in it. Watching Maddie as she waits for their food order, you can see the same left side of her jacket, which does not appear to have a pocket in the same location. Hoodie Guy from the food truck video has been confirmed as Jack S. On a chat thread for a true crime page, they theorized that the hooded man is Jack S. Additional to their theories that Jack S. was kicked out of his fraternity recently and that he might possess the same knife that was used in the attack on the students. People also claim Joe V is the man in the tan jacket and hat from the food truck videos and confirm that Hoodie Guy was Jack S. However, no one has been able to produce the source of the claim. Some point to a TikTok video Joe did, but a review of that video revealed that Joe did not actually mention a name during the segments made available on YouTube. Another source of this claim is a screenshot of someone sharing a photo of Jack S. asking Joe V, "Hey Joe, can you confirm if Hoodie Guy was this guy?" Below is a response saying, "Yes, that's him." However, next to this screenshot is from a video showing Joseph Morris, the YouTuber who was caught taking audio of his scream, recorded by the neighbors of the victims along with other hoaxes. It suggests that Morris or his video is the source of the message to Joe that Joe V screenshot. Let's see. For his scream hoax, Morris also created a fake photograph in the Daily Mail website, adding in the text about the recorded scream that was completely fabricated. The source video and message couldn't be found online, but it's that YouTuber's screenshot of the message of Joe V confirming Jack S is Hoodie Man. Morris's past fraudulent behavior of faking text and audio in high-profile cases casts serious doubt on the authenticity of that message. Let's see. Hoodie Guy or Jack S refused to give their DNA. It's not documented, and no evidence was found to support that claim. On the night of the crime, Jack S drove 5 hours to a family cabin in Boise. No documented evidence was found to support that claim. By some reports, it came from a psychic. Let's see. Jack S fled to Africa. While it's been reported that Jack S.'s parents have done charity work in Africa, there's no documented evidence that was found to support this claim. Jack S. was in the same fraternity as Ethan, but he was kicked out for inappropriate behavior towards women at parties, according to a LinkedIn profile of Jack S. Jack S. is often a nickname for John, who fits the same information as found on his social media: second-year student, Idaho University, employment history, photo matching social media accounts. Jack S. was a member of Delta Chi Delta, and Ethan was a member of Sigma Chi. However, Because the LinkedIn account also cannot be verified, it has not been confirmed what fraternity, if any, Jack S. belonged to, and it's all still speculation. No documented evidence was found for the claim that Jack S. was kicked out of Delta, Chi Delta, I can't even talk anymore, or any fraternity, let alone the inappropriate behavior towards women at parties. This claim appears to have originated from unverified claims made on Reddit. Jack S. is adopted and has anger and rage issues. Some people are speculating that Jack S. has anger and rage issues associated with being adopted, which could have made him violent. The idea that he's adopted came from internet speculation based on an anonymous poster's claim on Reddit that Jack just showed up one day in family photos at the age of 6 or 8. He has no features of his parents. The earliest photo shows severe tooth decay that's since been fixed, indicating he came from a situation of severe neglect. Wow, this is something. One of the compulsive pathologies that comes from trauma of severe neglect is stalking. However, there is no documented evidence that Jack was adopted, let alone has anger or rage issues. Jack S. lives in an apartment building next to the victim's house or is a close neighbor. No documented evidence was found to support that. Police searched outside Jack S.'s or Hoodie Guy's apartment building with luminol. The photo accompanying this claim is from 11/16/2022. The caption actually reads, "Police shine a blue light on a walkway at an apartment building Tuesday in Moscow, about a block from the residence where 4 college students were found deceased. There's no documented evidence at all that this is Jack S. or Hoodie Guy's residence. The dog knew the perpetrator because he didn't bark. The dog had no blood on him, and the dog left no bloody paw prints or was taken from the house on the night of the crime by Kaylee's boyfriend, Jack D. According to Kaylee's family, the dog was not a barker and likely would have hid during the attack. According to the police, the dog was found in a room where the crimes had not been committed. Others did not find evidence on the dog, and there was no indication that the animal had ever entered the crime scene." Okay. Red or black woman's underwear was photographed near the house. There's clearly something red in that location, but whether or not they're women's underwear cannot be determined from the photo. It could be a lot of things. An earlier photo of the same area didn't show the red object, so it might have appeared later in the investigation, indicating it's unrelated to the case. Man who threatened students with a knife, we went through, that's not related. Photos of alleged blood dripping. Okay. Raw news video of the location shows the substance was actually there, not photoshopped. A photo taken of 2 girls in front of the same wall within the timestamp of the video 10/30/22 reveals no drips. Heating oil is dyed red, but it has the same viscosity as diesel gasoline and is a translucent pink red. It doesn't resemble the thicker, darker, and more opaque red seen in the photo. When zooming in, the substance appears to have been dripping down onto the top of the pipe and then from the pipe down the wall in one area, contradicting claims that the pipe was just leaking. Let's see. Okay, that's most of the area. Let's see. Okay, so let me see what you guys are saying and see if anybody is calling. I'm going to throw this in the gallery if you know. Let's see. Okay. So, hi Debbie Zito. Hi Sassy Darcy. Hello Tammy. Who else is here now? Did anybody email to call in? Because if you did, let me know. Hi Cranky Babishka. Anybody else have a rumor they want to look up? Let me know. We'll try to find it. If you heard a rumor you don't know it's true. Happy 30th birthday to your daughter, Linda. See if anybody, I'm going to check if anybody emailed. can't even see it. Hold on a minute. I'm trying to see something. Somebody emailed me something. I can't see it. Okay. Let's see. So, all right. Let's see what's going on. Back to the live. Let's see. Oh, you're going now, Cranky? Okay. Bye. So. The case makes me think of the murders in Napa. Nightmare in Napa. Really? Did they, I don't know if I remember that. In 2004. Was that unsolved for a while? Did they solve it? Let me look it up real quick because that's not ringing a bell for me. Murders in Napa. On Halloween night, okay, let's see. There was a house on Dorset Street not far from downtown Napa. Felt like the perfect place to live. At first, there were only 2 roommates. Both were local, 27-year-old Lauren Minza, a volleyball coach for a community college, and 26-year-old Adrienne Insagna, an engineer for the Napa Sanitation District. A woman named Lily knew both women, but was especially close to Adrienne. There was a fast friendship. They worked together. They saw each other. They worked out at the gym. Lily remembers Adrienne as being outgoing, funny, strong, and tough. Adrienne had proved just how tough she could be. She was in a near-fatal car crash in high school. Had to overcome a lot of physical obstacles, okay. When she was a little girl, she refused to say she wanted to be, she used to say she wanted to be a mother and a teacher and a nurse and Miss America all before she was 21. Remembers Leslie's mother. Okay, so there was a third young woman to share the house, Leslie Mazzara, and that's the one that wanted to be all those things. In 2004, after breaking up with her boyfriend, Leslie moved to Napa. She got a job as a greeter at a winery run by Godfather director Francis Ford Coppola. On Halloween night, the 3 roommates handed out candy and were asleep by 11 p.m. Leslie and Adrienne were upstairs in separate bedrooms. Lauren was downstairs just after 1 a.m. Lauren was startled by loud noises coming from the upstairs bedroom. She said, and I quote, "I was in my bed, just opened my eyes, realized something was not quite right, and then I heard a scream." And I quote, "I jumped out of my bed, stood there for a second trying to figure out what was going on. It opened up my door, went outside and listened. Suddenly she heard him, whoever was in the house, who was running down the stairs right at Lauren. Her gut told her to go to the back, and she remembers thinking, I'm opening the doors for this guy to follow me out. Terrified, she stood defenseless in the backyard, but for whatever reason, the intruder fled the way he came in, through a ground floor window. Lauren said she never laid eyes on him. Lauren climbed the stairs. She was unaware of what she was going to find, but Adrienne and Leslie were in Adrienne's bedroom, bleeding from multiple stab wounds. Adrienne was still alive, but barely. Lauren slipped on something and realized it was the blood of her roommates. She fled the house and called 911. Police arrived soon after. Both women were dead. It wasn't long before America knew what happened. Let's just see. Leslie's mother, Kathy, was in her Michigan home. Okay, let's get to this. Let's see. So let me guess. They're the roommate, right? Because she slipped in the blood, so she had the blood on her. Let's see. I'm going to cut to the chase on this. Wow, by the following summer, the police seemed truly baffled. Investigators said that they met with more than 1,000 people, ruling them out one by one. Crazy. Then in September, 11 months after the murders, there was something. The cigarette butts found inside the house. Months later, the crime lab results finally arrived. In fact, the saliva on those did match the killer's DNA. And just 5 days later, they made an arrest. No one knew it at the time, but there was one young man in Napa County who was feeling intense pressure after police released information about the cigarette butts found outside the house where the two women were murdered. He was feeling so much pressure that within days, two parents in the Napa Valley opened the mail to find suicide notes from their own son. The man wrote the notes may have sentenced himself to death, but he didn't carry out the sentence. After family members got the suicide notes, they confronted him and convinced him to turn himself in. His name was Eric Koppel, the 26-year-old husband of Adrian's best friend, Lily. Wow, Lily, so why would he did that, huh? The revelation was even more shocking because it was only months after Arlene had been invited to speak at Eric and Lily's wedding. Just who is Eric Koppel? Little is known. He's a classic, shy, quiet guy who worked hard as a land surveyor, was never in trouble with the law, not even for a traffic violation. But how could Lily have gone for nearly an entire year marrying and living with the man who murdered her best friend without suspecting a thing? Asked if he thinks Lily knew about her husband's involvement, the Napa County District Attorney, Gary Lieberson, says it's hard to believe that she laid next to him for 11 months and didn't have suspicions. There's no proof that Lily knew what Koppel had done. And police also wondered about investigators. Why didn't they find him sooner? How is it that police took over 200 DNA samples from men all over the country, but somehow skipped over Koppel, who lived and worked in the Napa Valley? I don't know. This seems like a crazy case, but yeah, I don't know. So in that case, it was one of the roommate's boyfriends. But why? What was the motive? I don't know. It's a very long case. I don't have time to go into it now with this one, but it's something to think about. Let's see. It was a revenge killing in the It was a revenge killing. What was the revenge for? For what? Did they do something to Lily? Hey, Juanita, good to see you. Juanita, what are your thoughts on this Idaho case? Do you have anyone you believe is a suspect? I wonder what your thoughts are. Juanita. The killer thought the roommates were trying to break him and his girlfriend up, and that's why he killed them, huh? Wow. You don't think his girlfriend really knew Lily or his wife? I'll have to look into that case. I don't know. Napa Valley. Interesting. Very interesting. Jealousy, right? He didn't like competing for Lily's attention with the two girls. You think the Idaho case, it's someone not even on the radar yet? Really? Could be. could be. Or that we know about that hasn't made it out there. Right? Let me see what else is going on out there about this case. So it says here that, what does this one say? A renowned forensic pathologist and former medical examiner told Fox News that the toxicology reports for the 4 University of Idaho students could hold potential clues to the unsolved case. From the toxicology, you could learn a great deal about where the decedents were during the hours before their death, what, if any, drugs they were taking, their state of mind, said Dr. Michael Baden. Did they take drugs that could have caused them to sleep and not wake up? Baden's comments came in response to the Latah County coroner's Kathy Mabbitt's statements in an exclusive with Fox, diminishing the test, which had not come back from the lab yet, as irrelevant to the college killings. The Moscow police decided to comment Friday on whether toxicology are still pending. More than a month has passed since the murders. I don't know. Let's see here. Baden pointed out that Mabbitt, who's handling the case, has come under fire as a coroner and not a medical doctor. Mabbitt, an attorney with her own law office in town, used to work as a nurse and was elected coroner in 2006. Her main role is to determine the cause and manner of death based on autopsy reports issued by a pathologist with the Spokane Medical Examiner's Office. Baden said the toxicology probably won't have any bearing on the case or manner of death, homicide by stabbing, but could offer other insights. These days, there are literally hundreds of drugs looked for in toxicology that are new and different because of all the fentanyl and methamphetamine-like drugs coming from different sources, he said. Certain drugs are used in Washington versus Idaho, and this could offer clues about where they were or who they were with before they died. Urine, blood, and stomach contents are often tested as part of a toxicology. Maybe one of the victims had their food spiked, he said. This would be a significant piece of evidence. He described the system of using coroners in parts of the U.S. as an archaic relic from British colonial rule. Retrained Los Angeles police detective, retired police detective Mark Furman agreed with the coroner's conclusion. Furman said they were attacked with a knife and they basically bled to death. Toxicology wouldn't affect that no matter what they ingested. I put my money on there being alcohol in all 4 victims' systems. What conclusions can you draw from that? Furman criticized the coroner for sharing details of the autopsy with the victims' families. She should stop talking, Furman said. She has never done an autopsy. She doesn't understand the value of the autopsy information to police. She should not have talked to anybody about the injuries of any of the victims. Kaylee Goncalves' father, Steve, said that he was upset that the coroner shared grisly details of Kaylee's injuries with his underage daughter. The coroner also shared details of the other victims' injuries with him, which he felt was inappropriate. She declined to comment. Okay, here's another thing. Jennifer Coffendorfer, if you know her, the former FBI agent, she really made the rounds with the Gabby Petito case with Brian Enton and News Nation. She said the stabbing murders of 4 University of Idaho students was not easy. Yeah, right. Jennifer Coffendorfer, a retired FBI agent, said, and law enforcement analyst, went on Twitter Sunday voicing her thoughts on the Idaho stabbings. She said, when I was doing my EMT rotations out of a fire station in South Dallas. My first call was to a stabbing. She continued, the woman was stabbed many times, perforated lung, but was screaming in agony. To murder these 4 Idaho students took ferociousness, strength, and resolve. It wasn't easy. And it was a man, in her opinion, I guess. And they are looking for a man. Okay. Meanwhile, Coffindoffer also shared her thoughts regarding the possibility of video evidence getting leaked. She said, I fear that as time goes on and the public becomes more impatient with law enforcement concerning the Idaho homicides, more video and other information provided to law enforcement may be leaked, she said. She said, this will only harm the investigation. The killer is part of the public, and you can bet he is watching. Coffindoffer said that with the new information regarding the Elantra, we know police are disseminating info out regarding the Elantra. That makes me wonder how the car comes into play. Nothing is making sense regarding this Elantra. This crime was filled with passion, hate, and done by someone who feels they were so wronged. She continued saying that she believes the crime may have been thought out and executed to a degree. I think the suspect were brilliant to enter and exit without being seen. They were familiar with the house, she added. Let's see what else. Expands. Let's see what this is about. The search for the murder suspects expands. There's that. Why is it? Where is it expanding? So they're looking outside of Moscow for leads now. Investigators. Okay. Okay, and John Benet Ramsey's dad weighs in and saying that let's see what he said here. What is John Benet's father saying? He said, okay, this is John Ramsey. It's a small little town. They probably, and I'm quoting him, okay? They probably got a dozen on the force. Most of them whom have probably never investigated a homicide before. We have 18,000 police jurisdictions in this country. Each one's a little island of authority, and the chief of police is in charge of the island. And if they don't ask for help, help cannot come in, except in the case of a bank robbery where the FBI comes in automatically. Some of those departments are very competent, and some of them are not. They can't be all-knowing about all things with all types of crimes, so they shouldn't be able to just choose when to accept and request help. Any help that's available to solve a serious crime like this. Not having sought out the assistance of the FBI and the state police would have been the worst-case scenario, added John. But unless Moscow PD takes more of a back seat in the probe and allows the big guns to take control moving forward, John fears the chances of it being solved are pretty low. So, let me see. Dr. Baden is my cousin's father-in-law. He is kind of a celebrity pathologist. He testified in the OJ trial. Yes. He could not have ever. It's interesting that he's your cousin's father-in-law. Juanita's saying he could have even ridden a bike to the scene and hidden it behind the house and then got away unseen and unheard. We haven't heard much about biking, right? About them biking. I don't know how the killer would not have cut his hands. Almost everyone that commits, especially a very violent stabbing, and usually they're violent, has a cut, at least one cut on their hand. Kill 4 people with a knife like that and not have a cut on your hand would be very unlikely, right? Very unlikely. So even if he got away, he could still be in the on the victim if his blood was there. So I don't know when they're going to get all of that back. Hi, well, Lisa. It's very, unless he was wearing like Kevlar gloves, that's the only thing. Check out Matthew. He killed 5 people at a house party, not Matthew DeGroom. Matthew DeGroom. Let me see. When was this? Matthew Dacre. You sure that's his last name? I don't see a murder with that. Matthew DeGroom? Or did spell correct do something?
It has a D on the end instead of the M, Carolyn.
Oh, DeGrood?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me check it. So let me go in there. Hang on. It's locked up now, so I have to wait a second. Oh, snow remover, but my thing locked up here, so let me see. Okay, now maybe it'll let me back in now. It's locking me up. Hang on. It's locking me up, so I've got to wait a second here for it to. Okay, now. Matthew, police have not said if they had a motive for the killing. Date of murders, April 15, 2014. Date of arrest, same day. Date of birth, 1993. Victims, Joshua Hunter, 23. Katie Paris, 23. Jordan Segura, 22. Lawrence Hong, 27. And Zachariah Rothwell. Method of murder, stabbing. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. On May 22nd, 2014, DeGrode was found mentally fit to stand trial after undergoing a psychiatric assessment. Let's see. On April 15, 2014, 5 adults were stabbed to death at a house party in the Brentwood neighborhood of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The stabbing attack occurred several blocks away from the University of Calgary campus, and the party was held to mark the end of the school year. It was one of the deadly acts of mass murder to have ever occurred in the history of Calgary. Police arrested Matthew DeGrode in connection with the massacre. The attack occurred at 1:20 a.m. at a house at 11 Butter Crescent, where about 30 people were present at the party. The assailant and an invited guest committed the attack shortly after arriving at the party. He obtained a large knife at the house and stabbed the victims methodically. Each victim was stabbed multiple times. The suspected attacker fled on foot but was arrested by police 40 minutes later with the aid of the K-9 unit. The victims, okay, we went through the victims. Let's see here. The suspect is Matthew DeGrude, 22, attended the University of Calgary, was planning on attending law school. He was an employee of Safeway prior to the stabbings. He has been charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder. He has no previous run-ins with the police. He is the son of a city police officer with the rank of inspector. DeGrude was being held on a secure psychiatric facility adjacent to Calgary Remand Center. According to authorities, he personally knew at least one person that was present during the party. According to DeGrude's parents and classmates, his behavior had started to change in the weeks before the murders. He began posting more frequently on Facebook, submitting bizarre status updates. On May 22nd, he was found mentally fit to stand trial. Okay, let's see what else. How did he stab these 5 people at this party and nobody was able to stop him? And did he have his trial yet? It's like, so this is, I mean, this is the photo of him, but let's see, what is it? Very bizarre. Precise motive for the crime was never known. But, let's see, it says, oh no, that's something else. Hold on, that wasn't him. DeGrude was injured by a police K-9 during the arrest. He was taken to Rockview Hospital for treatment, where he remained. Back at the house, crime scene investigators searched the area for evidence. The scene was horrific. It was extremely difficult, regardless of who the perpetrator is, to go into a scene like this with young people who have been killed. Police recovered a weapon from the street, but it's not immediately known if it was used in the killings. Hansen said DeGrude was armed with an instrument from his job at the grocery store, but the knife used in the killings was allegedly taken from inside the house. The killing is the worst mass homicide in Calgary's recorded history. A status update posted on DeGrude's Facebook profile the night, hours before the stabbings read, "Dread and the fugitive mind, the world needs a hero." The first phrase is the title of a song by Megadeth, a heavy metal band. The second phrase is the name of a 2001 album it appeared on. And that's, yeah. Well, we found out about 2 other cases tonight. That's crazy there. 2 of the victims were asleep on the sofa and never saw him come. The others tried to run but were unable to. Okay. But nobody tried to jump on him, right? Like at the that shooting recently at that club in Colorado, the 2 people went straight on in after them, right? Yeah. He wasn't very big. Weird. I think so. That was strange. Let me see what else, if there's anything else coming out. Let's see. Hmm. Let's see. I'm just trying to see if there's they're posting anything that is anything relevant. Okay, let me go back to, let's see. Oh no. Hold on 1 second. Don't even. Say one thing. How do we know? Please, you've got to be kidding me. Somebody just wrote something in one of these groups 2 hours ago. Said, I have sent this to the FBI through the Moscow Police Department website. I spoke with, I don't know which PD she did, on the phone, and spoken to Moscow PD on the phone, and made everyone aware of the vehicle and its potential connection. I found a car in my town about an 8-hour drive from Moscow. I turned it into the FBI through the Moscow Police Department. I have no clue how long it takes for them to sort through tips and check information. Anyone have a clue? I can't figure out how to post pictures in the post, but I will post them in the comments. I believe it's the right year range, but tell me what you guys think. Okay, let's see what they're saying now. Let's see. Okay, so this is a photo that this person has posted. And the people are like, so sus, especially having no plates on it. And now wait a second, so let's see. Then she gives one of the side. Now look at this. It's completely watch. Hold on. The front, look at it. It's been in a collision. Look at this. The window's been smashed in. What? And then, let's see what else she says.